Ooh. Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. You know who it is. Hope you're doing well. Shout out to Double XL over here. Article link down there in the description. Also, Peter A. Barry, who pulled this article together. Nielsen says hip-hop and R&B is now most consumed genre in United States. This news came out this past week, when I was on vacation, and I didn't get a chance to talk about it until now. Wanted to comment on it because this is big news. This is pretty important. According to the raw numbers, when you combine music sales with streaming, hip-hop finally, for the first time, dominant consumed genre in the United States, inching past rock at 25.1%, rock music standing at 23%, and then from so on and so forth, you have all the other popular genres, pop, jazz, folk, so on and so forth. Basically want to highlight this to not only celebrate the fact that this has become the case. Hip-hop is the zeitgeist right now, and I've kind of seen this coming because as my channel was growing and I was getting more and more requests and more people just asking me to review particular things, like since I started, the amount of hip hop records that get requested and people just want to start a conversation about has just increased so greatly, like so intensely. And it's been incredible, sort of watching that growth and kind of being in the middle of that wave. It's been a really interesting piece of progression, in the popular music field. But I think I want to use this as an opportunity to kind of reiterate what I stated in my Jay-Z video, and also the good guys over at Dead End Hip Hop, they made a video talking about whether or not hip hop has become more relevant than rock music on the main channel. We will link you to that at the end of this video. Check that out. But like I said, I also wanted to kind of reiterate something I said in my Jay-Z video, talking about whether or not white people can enjoy a song that has a very pro-black message in it, like the story of OJ. Here's the thing. Hip-hop music is no longer an insular culture. There's no longer an in-group and an out-group. There's no longer people who really know it and really get it and really like it. And hip-hop is as familiar and as obvious and as deeply ingrained into the American songbook as jazz and rock and folk music and pretty much any other true blue American style of music. It is. There's really no denying that at this point. It's the most dominant genre in the United States of America. Again, there's really no arguing it. Sure, when you talk about just raw music sales, hip-hop does beat out, or rather rock does beat out hip-hop, standing at like 40% or something. But still, when you bring streaming in, and that has a lot to do with a cultural shift with the younger generation who is mostly streaming, not as much purchasing, mostly streaming. When you bring in those streaming numbers, still that's a lot of consumption because people have to be streaming a song and an album a lot of times in order for it to count as like a sale on the Billboard charts. So that's a lot of streams. That's a lot of consumption. That's a lot of engagement that rock music isn't necessarily having on the streaming side of things, or at least not having on the internet. So again, this is kind of a game changer over here. Not only does it sort of strike kind of a cultural shift in terms of really a lot of things, that hip hop represents philosophically, at least in the current day, that rock doesn't really represent right now, or at least maybe in a way never represented. But again, also, it sort of shows where hip-hop has sort of come from. And, don't sort of look at the fact that hip-hop is this dominant force and now everybody's kind of in on it as a bad thing. Because I think to do that is, in a way, to kind of disgrace the efforts of all the artists who came before, like a Drake over here, who obviously paved the way for this, like, a Kanye West or a Jay-Z. Or Run DMC and the Beastie Boys and Eminem and so on and so forth. Artists who, did everything and anything that they could to sort of make their popularity and make their skills and make their artistry sort of transcend the hip-hop bubble, which obviously, is a really important part of the culture and a really important part of the genre. It's essentially the petri dish that all of this artistry blossomed out of. But obviously, the artists who I just mentioned wanted to, sort of see the sound and see the genre and see, everything about hip hop sort of bloom beyond that and grow beyond that into sort of a force and a message, and just to see it evolve into the zeitgeist that it is today. I feel like as a fan, to sort of snobbishly sort of decide who is in and who is out and so on and so forth, and who can or can't listen or take place, or not take place, take part, and comment. Excuse me, it's kind of late, so I'm trying to pull together coherent thoughts on fumes here. Sort of again works against the efforts of all the artists from the 80s, from the 90s, from the 2000s, who again did everything they could to make this genre appeal as widely as it does today, so that somebody like a Drake or a Kendrick Lamar could reap the benefits, who in their own right are also, sort of paving the way and, sort of expanding the lanes, as it were, because the thing is, while hip hop has sort of reached this relevancy peak, and in a way, once you reach that, there's nowhere to go but down, I still do think hip hop has quite a bit of gas left in the tank, has some room to evolve and room to grow before it sort of reaches a point of either stagnation or the next generation just kind of decides that they want to use a different sound and a different something to kind of define themselves, which will eventually happen, just like it does with every, sound and genre and musical style and so on and so forth. But while hip hop is where it is now, just kind of enjoy it and just kind of, see where it's going, see where it's evolving. Because, this is where a lot of the interesting artistry, in my opinion, is happening right now. Of course, there's a lot of trash out there, and that comes with the territory of being the most popular, because you do have people kind of wanting to jump in and out really quickly to make a fast buck. I get it. There's a lot of garbage out there, but there's a lot of good stuff out there too that's worth listening to, worth streaming, worth buying, worth your time, worth your money, worth your attention. And while hip hop is so readily accessible at this very moment because it's so popular, try to find that good stuff, try to support those artists who you think are special, and get in on the conversation and get in on what you think makes this genre so great. All right, thank you for watching. Again, a video next to my head over here that I wanted to link you guys to, that Dead End Hip Hop video. Shout out to those guys for making that video. Check out their channel too, youtube.com/deadendhiphop. Subscribe to those guys. They always have good thoughts, good conversations on their channel. And that's it. You guys are the best. I'll catch you in the next video on this channel.